everybody's talking about the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington because you've got so many of the civil rights icons that are here in Atlanta. And I was sharing that I was 12 years old at the time. It was the second time I saw my father cry. There were only 3 television stations, ABC, NBC, and CBS, and you had VH1. And it was on all the stations, which was really, really huge back then. And I said to my father, I said, Pop, I said, man, why are you crying? What's wrong? And he went on to say, he said, life for back then, the Negro, no such thing as black. We didn't call each other black. Everything was Negro. Won't be this difficult, and your time is coming, and this, that, and everything. Well, when you look at it, times really didn't change in terms of 1963 to where we are right now. And what people don't get right is, okay, yeah, Voting Rights Act, and African Americans couldn't go to colleges and state universities below the Mason-Dixon line. If you went to college and you attended college and you were black and you were at a state school, it was definitely above Maryland. I mean, you would either be at one of Rutgers or one of the state schools up in the Northeast or out West. If you were in the Southeast, you didn't go, you attended an HBCU. What the March on Washington really was about, though they didn't call it then, it was really about the wealth gap. And times really haven't changed. Because if you look back in 1963, for every dollar a white American earned in 1963, blacks earned 55 cents, okay? Well, that number has increased to now 65 or even 70 cents. But in terms of wealth creation and household income, what is the centerpiece of wealth creation and household income? And this is what gets me, guys. You've got so many pundits and you got so many experts out here on social media, retire early and do this, and I paid off my debt and this, that, and everything. They're not telling the whole story. They did that through home ownership. They didn't do it through a side hustle. They didn't do it from savings. They did that from home ownership. I'm going to upload a video, and I want everybody to pay attention because I'm finally going to upload the video of the 7 businesses of black millionaires. And what I'm trying to extrapolate and what I have found, that the average black millionaire owns 3 properties. The average black billionaire, and I've interviewed 4, well, they own 7 to 9 properties. So it's home ownership. And I'm going to, we're talking about the wealth gap and the March on Washington because it really hasn't changed. When you talk about closing the wealth gap, if you're not a homeowner and you have no retirement investment, accounts, you're out of the picture. You're not a part of the ball game. And that's what hasn't changed since 1963. When Martin Luther King gave that March on Washington, there were 250,000 people. You heard me say it before, minimum 250,000 people in attendance, and 1/4 were white. And the majority of African Americans, well, they lived in the South at the time. So what does that mean? Menial labor. Domestic household, not working in corporations, as a matter of fact, corporate America didn't hire its first black salespeople, and who did? It was Pepsi-Cola. Pepsi-Cola hired the first black sales reps in 1948, and there were only a handful of black sales reps, and corporate America didn't expand that domain till after the March on Washington. And speaking of the March on Washington, that was the side hustle of Martin Luther King, whether you knew it or not. I mean, corporate America went to Martin Luther King to go ahead and take the black salespeople and teach them the communication skills, teach them the professional development. And we didn't know that about King. So I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so that was really about closing the wealth gap, the March on Washington, 1963. because they didn't lose sight what W.E.B. Du Bois said earlier. And what did he say earlier? He said to be a poor man is hard. But to be a poor race in a land full of dollars, well, that's the very bottom of hardship. And I know I'm speaking specifically to Black America, but I'm speaking to women, I'm speaking to people of color, I'm speaking to Hispanics also. I mean, that wealth gap is growing exponentially. And until you recognize that currency right now, you are your own currency. I had that video last summer. We are in a creator's economy. What in the world does that mean? That means quit your job. When I say quit your job, don't throw in your resignation. I'm saying it, you know, rhetorically. Quit your job, not literally, but quit your job. The focus is no longer on, okay, I got a slave. This is drudgery and everything. And go to work on yourself. Not in yourself, for yourself, on yourself. See yourself as an independent consultant. So what does that mean? Number one, that means value add. Adding value every step along the way. Number two, don't chase the bag. Look, damn it, chase excellence. You've heard me say it before, when you're the best at what you do, you never have to worry about income, and you never have to worry about employment. Number three, you always work on two jobs. You always work on two businesses. The job, the business that it's in now, and the job, the business is going to become in 5 years. So, I mean, if you're not doing that, you're not a part of the game. You are your own economy. So you relate, you re-engineer, and you reinvent. And if you don't have those three qualities a part of your mindset, regardless of the economy, I mean, you're not in the picture. And I think if King were alive right now and he had to give the address 60 years later, that would certainly be the focus. That would certainly be the focus. So the economy has changed. And I tell my students right now, and gentlemen, you've heard me say it before, every day of your life, someone is making money off of you. What I found in my 7-year research, sitting across the table, reading surveys of these 118 questions that these Black millionaires and billionaires gave me, the one question they asked, who's paying you? Well, you paying everybody else. Well, who's paying you? And the number one rule they abide by, don't let anybody pimp you. Don't let anybody pimp your skill. Don't let anybody pimp your value add, what you do better than anybody else. And if you can hold true to that mindset, soul set, heart set, health set, it's game over. You don't have to worry about anything or anybody else. I know I was going on and on and on, but that's near to my heart. And that's what's going on right now, and nothing has changed.